Hello, we are Group 1, and today we're going to talk about the minorities in Vietnam. Here's the table content, and this is our member. I am Nam. First, we're going to discover about the discourse analysis. Discourse analysis is a way of communication that fosters the creation of meaning, and which refers to how people think, say, and behave in regard to people, places, institution, and objects. Our problems today is the wife pulling of the Hmong people live in Vietnam. So the Hmong people is a minority that live in Vietnam, which have approximately 1 million people, and they live on the mountainous province at the north of Vietnam, and they suffer from poverty, which leads to some tradition that they have. The two main ideas we're going to talk about is one is the surface of the iceberg, which is the tradition has been viewed to raise awareness on the media, including news and the internet. Second of all, we're going to dive into the core of the iceberg, which is how the media has evoked this case on the hot table to attract audience attention and shape the public opinion. As a result, this leads to a misunderstanding among the people of this Hmong tradition without knowing its background. The discourse analysis on media, we're going to examine the reaction of the media and the people about this and how the message has spread throughout different forms of communication.
Phương and I going to talk about the surface of a problem. So semantics is a theoretical framework for the study of meaning in cultural texts, which approach them as a language. So wife pulling tradition is also a symbol of Hmong minority tradition. Hmong people don't have the custom of taking wife, they only have the custom of pulling the bride. It's a good and human marriage custom of the Hmong people on voluntary basis, and more importantly, both are required to reach the legal age for marriage. In modern times, the tradition had become disfigured as men can abduct any woman to become their wife. So as the result, it has transformed from the custom of pulling the bride of Hmong ethnic group. The negative aspect being a that in modern time being seen by people from urban cities through social media is a number of young men abuse the seemingly harmless tradition, arguing that the ritual grants them the right to make any girl their wife when they successfully bring her home. When unpleasant circumstances arise, the police will respond if the wife pulling becomes assault. So this is some negative aspect was viewed by urban people. We are living in the modern society. We understand human rights and the concept of feminism with the right to marry the one they love and decide their own life. Therefore, when we receive negative information about repressive evil custom, we are easily agitated and criticize in the first place. However, if we understand the hidden motive under this tradition, we may realize that this is also a cultural feature that needs to be perceived. There are numerous information from media on TV, social media, newspaper, which confuse us since there are no formal research conducts and ask resolution about the issues from the government. That's why we should not really condemn this culture, rather preserving it in a civil way.
My name is Won Hương, and I'm going to present the core of the iceberg, the hidden reasons why the Hmong people has disfigured these traditions. First of all, is the education here is very poor, and the people here is very unaware of the law about child marriage, and the majority of women here is being trafficked to China, and that's the reason. And such dangerous reason are being ignored by the audiences due to the one-way narrative, and because since they only know a part of the story, and This bad impression of the Hmong people has decreased their tourism income, the income from tourism, and which is the main financial income mountainous area. And there are three theories to be applied here. Which the first one is the framing theory, is the range and of information and ideas being presented and how and what salient aspect of it was presented. And the paradox of misunderstanding represents for the ambiguous headlines and titles of the news that the media had given that make the audience confused and chose to believe what they were told. Lastly is the cultivation theory, which means that people learned about the world through media and they often blur the lines between reality and the truth that they were told. But media often conveys consistent and repetitive content through over a long periods of time, which made the audiences to become passive and believe what they were told is true. And they shared a view of the disfigurement of wife pooling tradition, which has made a very bad impression on the Hmong people.
So I'm going to talk about the audience viewpoint and also the solutions of this controversial practice. As we learned that audience are the producers of meaning. However, active audience on media often understand the context with ambiguity and vagueness interpretation. If we can put this in semantic theory and applying to the critical case of Hmong ethnicity regarding their cultural tradition pulling wife are being adopted by the audience on social media, most likely the story will end up as a one-way understanding or starting to adapt the misleading information into the mindset. Taking on Fisher narrative paradigm argument that people are essentially storytellers and the world is a set of stories from which we choose and thus constantly recreate our life. To understand audience perspective and the flow of their understanding on this critical practice, first we need to understand audience viewpoint on this marriage tradition of Hmong people in this modern time. People with education and knowledge background living in urban area are more active online and with the development of technology, people can have free of speech on many controversial topics. For that, they construct the meaning of this traditional marriage culture as a negative view since they only read the side that created from media text, which was explained by the scholar Saussure on the theory of semantics. The scholar also stated that this is a communication process, which the meaning is not supported by empirical evidence. Moreover, Stuart Hall encoding decoding theory claims that audience derive their own meaning from media text. This meaning can be dominant, negotiate, or oppositional based on personal belief. We're gonna talk about the solutions of this problem from audience perspective. Although having experienced lots of historical of behavior suffer great division in the community, changes in living conditions and residence area, the Hmong people have preserved the quintessence and value of culture and tradition of wife pulling. Raising awareness about the tradition to protect or preserve the people integrity need cautious with step-by-step strategy and research from many scholars to conduct a full empirical proof and fact as well as the participate and understanding of media viewers on the practice, so we can solve the problem of among minority regarding the marriage traditional ritual. From the local government, we need to a supportive environment to improve on education and propaganda to raise people awareness, activate human rights movement for the Hmong people, order the policies of for the Northwest sustainable poverty reduction and strengthening population management and combating migration freedom. Local government should propose amendments to the system of policies and law on human rights to ensure it concurs with geographical, cultural, and ethnic minority characteristics. Thank you for listening.